Good afternoon, Coach. Great to see you. Wish we were in person, but I wanted to ask you. You obviously have a very young team, and tomorrow would typically be a hostile environment on the road, first big test, and it won't be like that without the fans and all that. Do you have a conversation with your players as far as traveling for a big game like that, and obviously knowing they won't have to deal with a away crowd?
Yeah, I think in some ways it's easier because you don't have the crowd going crazy and the other team scores two baskets in a row and you can't hear what the call is and guys get nervous and the whole bit with 3, 4, and I guess evidently somebody said at one time this past week I had 5 freshmen on the floor at one time, so it's easier from that point. But the guys that have been around a long time, I've told them I've never lost a game because of a building. It's usually because that other team was really good. And I've probably never coached a team that a guy can say he has 7 starters returning, because they had one kid that played the first 10 starting, lost, got hurt, and then another one late that started games when someone else got hurt. But I think it's going to be the team that we're going to be concerned about. And, some ways the pageantry, the excitement of college basketball is not there. There's no question about that. But the toughest thing is trying to get your guys ready to play the other team. And I do believe that somebody said this morning, because I don't watch it, I was ranked number 3 in the country. Watching them on tape and looking at their stats, this may be as a difficult a job as we've ever had on the road, regardless of who it is and where it is.
Deanna King, then Brendan Marks.
Hey, Coach. Luka Garza, one of the top players coming back this year. What's your thoughts on him?
He's really good. That's the first thought. He's a guy that just got better and better and better every year. I think he's grown some since he got at the college level. But, the other day in the game, he was 14 or 15 or something crazy like that. So it's be a load for us to be able to, our young big guys, to try to guard a big guy who's really skilled, who's very well experienced in playing and doing those kind of things. But Fran does a great job with his team, and they've got a lot of weapons, but there's no question that Garza, you've got to try to cut down his percentage first. That's your job, is to try to cut down his percentage first. And if you do that, that helps you. But I just pulled up their stat sheet. They have 2 guys shooting over 70% from the floor. And so those are things that you've got to try to see if you can cut that percentage down. But he is the real deal, and right now I think he's playing and expected to be one of the best players in the country, if not the best player in the country.
Brendan, then CL.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, I know everyone is going to focus on Garza, and obviously he's a load inside. But outside of him, who are the players on Iowa's roster that I guess present the most challenges for you defensively, and what's sort of the game plan for trying to hopefully contain them some?
Well, try to get out on the shooters. I'm looking down again. They're like 39% from three-point line, but you do have to try to guard those other guys first, because one of them's 76 and the other one was 73 from the floor. Joe has been there a while. Joe does a great job. He's very selective. He's shooting 50% from the three-point line. C.J. Frederick shooting 50% from three-point line. They shoot a lot. Let's see if it says what the average here. They make 10 of them per game. And so we do have to get out there and guard those guys. But it's some of our really good teams have been very difficult for other teams to guard, because we had inside play and guys who could make three-point shots. And Brendan, that's what Iowa has. We've got to be able to guard them at both spots.
Thank you.
CL, then Isaac Shad.
Hey, Roy, I was wondering, just in the practices since last week, since the Texas game, what kind of improvement were you looking for out of the backcourt?
Well, and we're trying to do that every single day. And guys, if you think about it, we played Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We gave them off Thursday. We practiced Friday, gave them off Sunday, and then we practicing today. So it's not like we've had training camp since those games were over with. But we had a lot of guys banged up, playing 3 straight days back to back to back, and we felt like we had to try to give them some time to heal up. But specifically about the guards, I can give you a long list. I've already given it to them. We've got to shoot the ball better. We've got to have more assists, fewer turnovers, and we've got to pay more attention on the defensive end of the floor. So that's a big chore. I just described the whole game of basketball as a point guard. But I've started 2 freshmen guards before. We started Bobby Frazier and Marcus Ginyard. And RJ and Caleb are very gifted, but they've got to do a better job of running the game, controlling the game, and the biggest thing, getting us at the tempo and the pace we want to get to and being able to do it without turning the ball over. And then the other thing is our big guys are shooting a much better percentage, so the guy that's shooting a better percentage, make sure you get him the ball. And again, you're describing a point guard, and that's really hard at this level. I mean, it's you play Vegas, and then you play Stanford, and then you play Texas back to back to back. Those guys all had good guards who had been successful, and that was a challenge for our guys. But I love them to death. They're going to work extremely hard at their game, and but they know there's a lot of work to do.
Isaac, then Taylor.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for your time today. Looking at Iowa's schedule so far, they've played North Carolina Central and Southern and Western Illinois, all ranked in the 200s in KenPom. I'm curious what you see on tape from them translates. Does that kind of lower some of the numbers you might expect from them as you guys prepare to play them?
It doesn't lower any of my expectations because, again, I'll go back. They have 7 guys that started for them last year, and they were successful last year. I've looked at those stats much more, their season-ending stats, much more than I have their stats in the last 3 games. I mean, they're a really good basketball team. I mean, I don't care who they're playing. They could play, well, there's more than 5 guys and girls on this screen I'm looking at. They could play 5 of you guys, and I'd still be worried about them because it's who they are. They're really freaking good.
Taylor, then Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach. The focus in the Maui Invitational seems to be on the next game and that next matchup with almost a week now in between games. How have you seen your team respond to looking back at the film and seeing what has and hasn't worked, especially with it being such a young team?
Well, again, guys, we haven't had 10-hour practices every day. I mean, we play for a Wednesday night. We don't practice on Thursday, as I said. We did some practice on Friday to make sure we get them loose and gave them Saturday off too. So we've had one practice really, and I think we have to do that. They're young guys that aren't used to playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against that high-quality opponent. So we haven't done that much. Now, we showed them film for, I say film, I'm still old school. We showed them tape. We've had one practice about get to feel better on Friday, and then Sunday we showed them a lot of tape and practiced both. So that was really the only day that we've had. It's not that we can change over our team in one time, but one of the film sessions was probably 3.5 hours. So we put them in there and showed the mistakes because every young kid doesn't believe you when you say they did this, but when you show it to them on tape, they have no excuse. The old Ricky Callaway idea when I was coaching at Kansas, the old eye in the sky don't lie. And so that's been eye-opener for them. But even think about this, that a lot of freshmen don't watch much tape in high school. So you're getting them, and it's the first time they really had it, and it takes them a long time to even pick up who they're guarding and those kind of things because they're not used to seeing it on tape as much as coaches have. But we're not having any major overhaul or anything. We're just trying to get better at what we were doing.
Andrew, then Aaron Beard.
Hey, Coach, after you consumed the tape from last week, what are some of the things that you liked about what RJ and Caleb did?
I don't think they're afraid of the moment. I like that part because I think they're competitive guys. They're not afraid of, like, RJ stepping up the free throw line and making 2 big free throws for us the other night. So I love that part, that they're not afraid of the moment. They're not afraid of what's going on. They're confident. They just have to play better. But, I can say the same thing about Garrison. So it's not just the freshman guards, but their numbers aren't very good, and they jump out at you. And Garrison, and I'm not telling you anything, I told the whole team with Garrison in there that he hasn't played the way I expected him to play. But against Texas, he was the guy that stepped up and tried to make big plays for us then. It was just unfortunate that he sprained his ankle, and he hadn't practiced since then. And he hadn't been able to go full. We haven't done full court. In fact, first day he did nothing, absolutely nothing, and then we got him in some half-court work yesterday. But so the young guys, I love their competitiveness. We just got to get that competitiveness in an intelligent mode together, and if we do that, we're going to have a better player.
If I can ask a quick follow-up, you just mentioned a minute ago about how long the film session was Sunday. How long does it take freshmen to learn how to watch film properly?
It's different. Some guys pick it up just like that. And, some of them have had more opportunity to watch tape when they were in high school, but some of them don't. And it takes a long time. I mean, I guarantee I could put the tape in front of you guys, and I'd say, well, what did he do wrong there? You got no freaking idea what it is, and you've watched a million games. And we're there with going back and forth, and I've got a laser pointing at, yeah, that is you. That's not your teammate. That is you right there. So it's hard for some people.
Aaron Beard, then Greg. We got a few more minutes, so make them quick, please.
Roy, I did want to ask you about, you've had 4 games now with no fans, pumped in crowd noise, all the adjustments. Have you changed anything in how you're coaching the game from the sideline? I know Nate Oates said you hear more calls, maybe even from the other team. Bob McKillop said maybe he signals a little bit more. Is there anything you're doing differently, maybe with communication or anything else?
Well, it is easier to communicate, but I think you get prepared to play those kind of games as well. And that's what you practice for, so I don't have to call every play, every possession. But changing the way I dress, I'm wearing different shoes now. I don't wear a coat and tie. I'm screaming sometimes and they hear me, as opposed to sometimes during the ACC games you can scream and yell all you want and they still don't hear you. But I've tried not to make many changes. I've tried to make it like our practices. We've had a couple of scrimmages where we had some noise piped into the Smith Center, so they get used to listening to me even with the sound out there.
Greg Barnes, then Adam Smith.
Hey, Roy, is there any update of note on Anthony Harris?
He's still not doing anything full court. I promise you guys, we're not going to surprise you when he can start doing things full court. We'll let everybody know about it. But he's last couple of days he did nothing, period. And he didn't feel well. It was not COVID related, so don't jump at any freaking conclusions. He just didn't feel well. And today we'll let him do some drills, but he has not done anything live where he's guarding somebody and somebody's guarding him, or we're running full court. I promise you when he does that, we'll let you know. But we're not hiding anything. It's just he hadn't done it yet.
Adam Smith.
Hey, Roy, the Elon game that you guys were supposed to have was supposed to be the 12th. I know that's listed as a postponement because of the Elon had a COVID situation. Just what is your understanding of when that might be made up, or if that might be made up?
You're describing college basketball right now. Clint Walton is sitting over here with me. He's giving me an update on who we're talking to and what we're saying, and that the state of North Carolina doesn't go with the national, CDC guidelines. We don't know what the hell's going on. So we're going to try to find somebody to play, and if you guys have uniforms that fit all of you, we'll play the five of you guys.
Ross Martin.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering what you see Walker Kessler's role on this team being like in the next month or so as you still watch him progress and you see him raise that up.
I think Walker has got a big time potential, and I think he's going to be a big time player. But guys, he missed quite a bit of time, and we're trying to get him back into game shape and trying to get him caught up with the things that he missed. The reason I keep turning to my left, I've got a bad crick in my neck, but I'm looking at the clock because I'm meeting some guys 15 minutes before regular practice starts just to do some extra dummy offense. So we don't know, but he's moving along, but you don't miss that much time and then jump out there and play 30 minutes a game. That just doesn't happen, but he's going to be a big-time player.
We have time for 2 last questions. Kiera, then Brendan.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to quickly ask you, what are some of the positives that you've seen with this team? Seen all the things that need to be worked on, but what are some things that you really like about this particular team this year?
Well, any coach, I think, would be like this. So you see the negatives so much more than you do the positive, but I try to make sure that I do see those things. And I'll go back to every game. I think we've shown a piece of my apple in my toe. Even going back to the first game against College of Charleston, they take a 1-point lead, and our guys just kept playing. We're down 13-0. It was at Vegas, and our guys just kept playing. And things looked tough. We were down 16 at one time against Texas, and our guys just kept playing. So I love that part of it, that they don't pack it in and say, woe is me, and go run looking for their mama. But that's the biggest positive. The negatives is we're not handling the ball very well. We're not shooting it very well. We're not defending very well. So there are a lot of those things, but I do believe that we have some parts that can improve and need to improve. And I think that these are the kind of kids that really work on it and get to that spot.
Brendan, last question.
Yeah, Roy, this is sort of a separate, not anything to do with the game tomorrow, but I know Stanford has sort of been crashing in Chapel Hill the last couple of days since Asheville. I'm just sort of wondering from your perspective how that came together and how that's changed things on your end in terms of practice schedule or workouts or anything.
It hasn't changed what we're doing at all. Jared's seeing what our schedule is, and then they're free all day. They're not in class. There's not anything going on, and so he makes his practice schedule. It was pretty easy. He got the word about Santa Clara County, I guess, was shutting down everything after he was already on his way here to come to North Carolina for the Maui Invitational. And so we just talked to him and said, you can work in our place if you want to. And so that's what he's doing. They're staying here in Chapel Hill. And the only extra thing he's doing is he came and walked with me today at lunch and realized I'm a lot slower than I even used to be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys. Thanks, guys.